Swamp Thing was a very 80s movie that could be fit into a bunch of genres, but the most fitting would probably be horror. I mean, it's about a man who turns into a monster in a swamp, right? He wasn't the bad guy, but, well, that's comics for you. In this movie, Swamp Thing returns to once again protect the swamp from the evil Arcane. Wait a minute, isn't Arcane dead? Well, he got better, and he's no longer the monster that he transformed to in the end of the first film. And this movie has gone far, far off the track of a horror film. It's more of an action comedy, co-starring Kim Basinger. Still interested? Well, Arcane is back. They just kind of mentioned that he survived somehow with no real explanation. But due to whatever mysterious process was used to revive him, his body is breaking down over time. He's looking for a cure, and in the meantime doing all this Dr. Moreau stuff to random people, turning them into monsters to search for the perfect something to use for his cure. What he really needs is Swamp Thing, who starts making appearances once again, fighting off the monsters that escape from Arcane's lab. Arcane's stepdaughter shows up to confront her father or something, which works out for him because he could really use her DNA, as she's supposedly an almost perfect genetic copy of her mother, which is relevant because, fuck you, that's why. Swamp Thing rescues her, and she falls in love because I guess she's a vegetarian, and they have plant-on-human makeouts. I'm not making this up. This movie is stupid, but at least it's the funny sort of stupid that you laugh at, rather than the annoying sort of stupid that makes you want to go do something else, like Sanskrit spelling bee. I mean, in this movie, Swamp Thing drives a car at one point. Just imagine that in your head if you haven't seen it. Imagine the Swamp Thing, the avatar of the green, all-powerful guardian of life, driving a car. Then imagine Kim Basinger in the passenger seat, and the line, "I love guys who peel out." That right there in a nutshell is the return of Swamp Thing. Is it good? No, not at all. But it's at least somewhat entertaining. It's not dull, and it doesn't feel like watching it is torturous, but more like a simple waste of time. After this, there were no more movies, but instead a TV show, which was pretty good. At least after a few episodes. The first few episodes were a lot like this movie, but then they made it more along the tone of the first film. Return of Swamp Thing is more going against it than for it, but it's not the worst thing ever, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Next.